Concerns over a potential volcanic eruption in Italy are escalating after hundreds of tremors have been detected west of Naples in recent weeks. In recent days, media outlets have been flooded with reports suggesting that the Campi Flegrei Supervolcano, located to the west of Naples, might be edging toward an eruption, the first since its catastrophic event in 1538. With a history spanning thousands of years, this volcanic complex, also known as the Phlegrean Fields, has produced several significant eruptions. But is there real evidence suggesting it is about to erupt again? And if it does, what will be the consequences? Let's explore. The Campi Flegrei Supervolcano. If you travel west from Naples, you'll notice a striking geological feature. Campi Flegrei, a supervolcano that differs vastly from the towering presence of Mount Vesuvius. Rather than a singular, imposing peak, Campi Flegrei manifests as a vast expanse of overlapping calderas, pockmarked with large, deep explosion craters. This vast volcanic complex was shaped by two colossal eruptions, one approximately 14,900 years ago and another 39,800 years ago, ejecting an estimated 79 cubic kilometers and 320 cubic kilometers of material, respectively. To put this in perspective, these eruptions far surpass the infamous 79 CE eruption of Mount Vesuvius, which buried Pompeii. Unlike traditional stratovolcanoes, Campi Flegrei is structured as a caldera system, with two dominant calderas spanning 12.6 kilometers and 14.5 kilometers in width. These formations were created by cataclysmic eruptions that reshaped the region. Beneath the surface lies an intricate magma chamber, divided into two sections: a deeper, larger reservoir at 8-kilometer depth and a shallower magma sill at 3.6-kilometer depth. The sill is not uniform. It contains a central bulge, which expands over time, causing the ground above to uplift. Over the last 73 years, this uplift has been persistent, with some areas experiencing upward movement of up to 30 meters. Signs of renewed volcanic activity. The last eruption of Campi Flegrei occurred in 1538, but recent scientific studies have reignited fears of a potential reawakening. The National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology, INGV, in Italy, in collaboration with University College London, UCL, has been closely monitoring seismic activity, ground deformation, and gas emissions in the region. Their findings are concerning. The caldera, weakened by tens of thousands of minor earthquakes since the 1950s, appears to be nearing a breaking point. A recent study published in Nature highlights a significant increase in seismic activity, with over 600 tremors recorded in April alone. The coastal town of Pozzuoli, located near the volcano's center, has risen by nearly 4 meters since the 1950s. This unsettling data suggests that magma may be pressing against weak points in the caldera, increasing the risk of an eruption. Since 1950, the ground at Campi Flegrei has been rising at an average rate of 6.2 centimeters per year, placing the region into a higher unrest tier, a classification based on historical trends and current data. Notably, this uplift follows a long period of subsidence that occurred after the 1538 eruption. The magma chamber and potential eruption scenarios. The magma chamber beneath Campi Flegrei is vast, measuring approximately 3,600 meters wide and 6 meters thick, containing an estimated 40.7 million cubic meters of molten rock. In a worst-case scenario, if this magma were to breach the surface, it could trigger a VEI-3 to VEI-4 explosive eruption. However, a crucial factor preventing an imminent eruption is the absence of a ground rupture, a key precursor to magma reaching the surface. The 4 phases. Leading to an eruption, researchers have identified 4 distinct phases that Campi Flegrei typically undergoes before an eruption. By analyzing historical records and correlating them with modern data, scientists have determined that the volcano is currently in a heightened unrest phase. During the last cycle, this phase lasted approximately 13.6 years before culminating in the 1538 eruption. What could happen next? The likelihood of an eruption depends on whether a ground rupture develops above the magma chamber. In past eruptions, such ruptures have provided pathways for shallow magma to reach the surface. For example, in 1536, magma migrated westward from the sill, accumulating for 24 months before erupting. While we have not yet reached this critical stage, a recent scientific study suggests that the volcano could be approaching a rupture period. If this occurs, 3 possible scenarios could unfold. A rupture occurs, but magma does not reach the surface. Magma enters the rupture, leading to an explosive volcanic eruption. A rupture forms but is sealed by fluids before magma escapes. Scientists currently lean towards the third scenario, meaning a rupture might occur without necessarily resulting in an immediate eruption. How close are we to a rupture? While it's difficult to predict exactly when a rupture might occur, research suggests that the crust above Campi Flegrei's magma chamber is now 3 times weaker than it was in 1984. This substantial weakening raises the probability of a rupture, making the current period the most hazardous since 1950. What if Campi Flegrei erupts? The biggest concern is the dense population living within the red zone, a high-risk area designated by Italy's Civil Protection Agency, home to nearly 500,000 people. Spanning a 12-14-kilometer radius, this region is considered the most vulnerable. Authorities have developed an evacuation plan, with monthly risk assessments in place to ensure preparedness. Although Mount Vesuvius is more famous for its 79 CE eruption, which destroyed Pompeii, Campi Flegrei poses a more immediate and severe threat due to its complex structure and current activity levels. Potential global consequences. If Campi Flegrei were to erupt, the consequences could extend far beyond Italy. The scale, type, and duration of the eruption would determine its broader impact. Large eruptions inject vast amounts of volcanic ash and gases into the atmosphere, potentially affecting global climate. Past volcanic events have demonstrated that ash and sulfur dioxide can reflect sunlight, temporarily cooling Earth's surface. Volcanic eruptions also release toxic gases such as sulfur dioxide, SO2, and carbon dioxide, CO2, which can degrade air quality, leading to respiratory issues for exposed populations. The economic consequences could also be severe, affecting infrastructure, agriculture, and tourism, key pillars of the region's economy. Additionally, pyroclastic flows, fast-moving clouds of hot gas and volcanic debris, could devastate entire communities, while magma movement beneath the surface could trigger earthquakes, increasing structural damage and hazards. Final thoughts. Despite rigorous monitoring and preparedness efforts, living near a potentially awakening supervolcano carries an inherent level of uncertainty. Volcanic activity is dynamic and unpredictable, often defying our best scientific models. Balancing between understanding warning signs, preparing for the worst, and hoping for the best remains the greatest challenge. So, what do you think? Could Campi Flegrei be on the verge of its next major eruption? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more breaking updates on Earth's most powerful natural forces.